so awkward on camera.
Don't worry.
Okay. Don't worry about it. So hi Jackie, nice to meet with you today.
Hi Ryan, how are you?
Very good.
May I call you Rachel?
Yes.
Okay. You can call me Maria, that's my nickname.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm very happy that our boss has made a previous agreement on all of the different clauses and
Yes.
to develop this mall.
Okay, so I'm really looking for more of a mutual fit between the two of us to make sure that it's something that's going to work out for both of us.
Okay.
So that you want to be in this mall and that you're the company that we want to see there. So I think it's really important to kind of just figure out what quality you think that your product is, because we're trying to make this more of a high-end mall for the clientele that lives around here.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to just make sure that your products are that quality, or that you see your products as that quality.
So you're concerned about the quality?
Yes.
Okay, so you know that us Summit departments and stores, we're very high quality, we're high fashion, we're elite. Our target market is the top of the top.
Okay, great.
And exactly.
So I want to make sure we're on the same page with that.
Perfect. So don't worry about that issue. So I, as representing Summit, was also worried that I wanted to be in a mall that represented quality.
Okay, great.
So that's my target market. So it's perfect. We agree on that?
Yes. Sorry, I'm looking for a paper right now. So what are you looking for coming into this meeting?
Well, we're going to discuss Article 22. That's the only thing that, because everything else was set.
Yes.
And nothing of we submitted, as you know, our version of the article, and it was changed by the Wright development, and nothing we should talk about it.
What do you think the biggest issue is from the changes that we made?
Well, I know that the three main objectives and issues and with the articles are use, assignment, and subletting.
Okay.
And Summit is very concerned because we have done business for a lot of years. We're the top branch department store, high quality, as you know, high end. We have been very successful and throughout the years with our market, and we're one of the biggest ones in the market, and it's been our principle in all of the malls that we've developed ourselves and are right now. It's always our policy to retain the right to use, assign, and sublet our space as business conditions, our corporate strategy required, because we know how best to manage our stores for gain the best profits that we can, because we're experts at what we do. We've been in the market so long. Mm-hmm. We have experience, and all of our marketing guys they know what they do. So they know when a shift needs to occur in our products, but it's always targeting this high end, because that's what we're all about, the high quality, high luxury clothing, fragrances, all this. But that's the issue.
The problem with the current Article 22 is that for us to get financing, we can't keep it as is. So we'll have to work together to fix that if we want to make this partnership work.
Can you explain the financing part?
We just
your issue with not letting our version of the Article 22.
Because we want to ensure that we're not having another company just come right in and change the whole feel of this mall. For instance, if with use, you could completely change, if we don't change Article 22, you have the possibility to change into, say, a giant arcade. So if you had a giant kids arcade in your huge store, that would completely change the whole thing. So it's just important for us to protect ourselves. I understand what you guys stand for, but it's just important for us to be able to protect ourselves from anything happening later down the line, because I know we're talking about many years here.
I know, 30 years is our
Yes.
lease. But, I mean, so this is our policy that we've been establishing in of the past years of our existence as Summit, and like it has worked out perfectly. And I know we're the main anchor in the mall, and this I know that attracts other clients, and also attracts high quality clients. I mean, clients, I'm referring to the satellite tenants.
Yeah.
So if you want a high quality mall, and like this sense to, because of the neighborhood that you're developing in, Summit will bring that type of clientele and will bring that type of satellite tenants wanting to be in your mall. So I know that you're concerned about the changing in, as you used in your example, the arcade thing with video games, but I guarantee you that it's not going to be like that, because throughout the history you can check all of the other malls that we've been established, and you see the success in it, and that we've never changed our high brand, because that's what we're about.
Well, do you think that we could consider making it more of mutual decisions to do something? So if you see market trends changing and you want to put in a new product, or you want to slightly alter something, that you could come to the landlord and kind of just propose that, say what you're thinking. I mean, obviously we're going to trust you because we see how successful your company is, but it's just also important for us to protect ourselves, to be able to kind of see what's going to happen before it happens.
Okay. The problem with that is that it takes a lot of time, and we want it to act fast. If we see a change, imagine, and what happens if you guys take a long time to decide, and also if we can't decide by ourselves, so that's also a constraint against us and our ways of operations. And we need to react to the market changes as soon as they come, so we don't get behind, because as you know, this market is very competitive.
What would an example be of something that you would have to change to really quickly?
Well, you know that our lease is for 30 years, so of course the market is not going to stay the same.
Obviously.
And well, imagine that this new product in the fashion industry comes out, this new type of clothing or this new type of shoe. We would want to get it out there as soon as possible, and imagine that we would have to consult every time that we wanted to do this. It takes a lot of time.
I think we're kind of having different opinions on this, because I'm thinking more in the sense of if you're going to change the whole use of the store, or if you're going to change the whole level of luxury goods versus regular consumer goods. If you're going to just put in a new type of shoe or a new pant or dress, that's not an issue with us. That can be left up to your store.
Okay, so I mean, if you just said that, then you wouldn't have a problem with us, for example, subletting a part of our space to a shoe company. You know, if you said that in that case, because they're just going to provide shoes.
I'm willing to work on that aspect of it, as long as, because we trust the products that you're providing right now, as long as you can guarantee that you're going to maintain that high level of luxury good while possibly subletting to some other companies, then we would be able to work with you on that.
Okay, so would you agree that
We don't have to cut it. I'm sure it'll be fine.
So would you agree that so would you agree that if everything is high end and luxury and or aimed towards that goal, that is our common goal, really, you would let us do the things?
But I also think that you should be keeping your store as a whole, not to just make it a ton of different sublets. You know what I'm saying? So it's still going to be your store, but if you did, for instance, want to have a Clinique sublet in your cosmetic department, then we would be able to work with that, and I don't see a problem with that happening. I don't think there should be separate entrances. I think it should still be part of your whole store. You see what I mean on that?
Okay. But so you don't really have. So I mean, if I guarantee that we are going to maintain the high end, maybe the same entrance for the whole building, the whole department store.
Mm-hmm.
Will you let us decide on our own what to do with our space? Because, as you know, our market history has shown that we are successful in what we do.
Would you?
And with our current policy, like, we've been successful.
Would you be able to send us what you're thinking of in terms of subletting? To kind of tell us what companies you're thinking of bringing in? Because it's also important for us to protect the satellite stores, and we don't want to have you bring in a competitor to these stores in your one anchor store. I understand if maybe we'll have to, for your benefit, have to get rid of one of the satellite stores and provide you with that company in your own store, but I really have to look out for their benefit as well. So do you know what sort of stores you would be bringing in?
Well, obviously, they're all going to be focused on the luxury end, because that's our main focus. And but we were thinking about nothing, just following the trends that we're seeing nowadays in the department stores, in the high-end department stores such as Summit.
Okay.
And just to not fall behind, because at the end of the day, we're all focused on profit. And I know that you guys profit from our revenues and from our sales condition. So, I mean, that's a mutual thing that we're working towards for the optimal condition to gain revenue. So you guys benefit and financial success.
Okay. Well,
so
I trust that if you think it is as good of quality as your own product, then I believe that it's okay to be there. I think that from the beginning we should probably start off with minimal sublets though, and then maybe over the years as we see how they work out, you could add in additional ones or as you see necessary.
Okay. But I think that, the problem right now is, are you going to give me the control or not? Because that's what we want. Like, we want... Our problem is that we want to be able to decide right on the spot, yes, we're going to do it now. You know? And that is not possible with some constraints.
I don't think putting in a whole nother company is one of those quick decisions as much as deciding that you want to sell this certain shoe that of a product line you already carry. I think bringing in a whole new business into the anchor store is something that is going to take a little bit more time. You know what I mean?
Okay. But we also want to maintain independence at the same time and make our own decisions.
Okay, so just to work with you, how many sublets would make you happy?
As we see, as the market department sees, according to the market nowadays, like the trends, you know?
Okay, I just think if we're going to give you the full power to choose what goes in there, then maybe we should just start by saying you'll be able to put 2 in, and they can be whatever you want. And then maybe once you get past that point, once you start bringing in a lot more, it would be something that you could probably just send over a quick draft, have us look at, and see if that company is going to be a benefit to be in there, or if it's going to directly compete with one of the satellite stores and hurt them.
But okay, so what you just said is first you're like limiting the number of sublets the company can do.
No, not that,
what?
but that you can do without talking to us about.
Without any type of control.
Yes.
Okay, so you said that, but then I'm confused because you said that after some time you could send like a draft.
I'm saying
would that
if
still
you had
be required?
if there were multiple. So say, I'm just trying to find some middle ground. So if we say that 2 sublets can be up to your control no matter what, and if you decide that you need to bring in more sublets, that would be something that you would come to the landlord and make a proposal about. So then you'd be having some control, but we'd also be having some control past a certain point.
But I think that's too limited.
I just think you having full control isn't really giving us anything. So I'm just trying to find some sort of
But also
middle
how-
ground here.
I understand what you're doing, and I agree that we have to work together because we're aiming towards a common goal of quality and profits. But how did you come up with the just 2? Like, how do you know that is a good number?
I'm just trying to find some sort of a middle
So
ground.
could we say like a reasonable number?
Okay, well, if the subletting is important to you, do you want to move on to something else and then come back to it?
Okay. So we have to also talk about the other issues about. So we talked about subletting, right? We have to talk about assignment and use also.
Okay.
And so because that's what the Article 22 talks about.
Okay, so use, I think we kind of agreed that you'd be maintaining the store character in that high luxury product, right?
Mm-hmm. So that's the only constraint you would pose on me? I mean, because...
I understand that the
Well, we
market
know how to
changes
run.
and that you're going to have to alter product lines,
Okay.
but I think that as long as we're kind of keeping that high quality, keeping that same product, if something happens over the next 15 years and nobody wants high luxury goods, which I do not see happening,
Mm-hmm.
I think that new assignment or new use should be a mutual discussion between us.
So, I don't understand because you're saying that I can do anything as long as it's luxury-wise, and
Yes.
then you're saying
Yes, but if you're
that
going
you
to,
want to
if you're going to
consult-
completely change like what we said with the arcade, or if you randomly decided to make the biggest bowling alley in the world and put it in there, like that's something that's completely different to what you're providing right now. So that would be something that we would have to have some sort of a decision on which direction we're going to go in. But if you're using the store, for the similar products and maintaining that character, I
okay,
think that's fine.
we wouldn't need to ask you anything in that case, right?
You would if you're changing the character of the store.
So if it's luxury wise, then and quality type, we wouldn't need to consult with Wright
But
development.
I also think you have to consider what the satellite stores are selling as well. So if you come in as an anchor store and then slowly start selling all of the products that those satellite stores sell,
Mm-hmm.
the whole mall itself is going to fail because those satellite stores aren't going to want to be there.
Okay. I think we need to discuss what the term use means before.
Okay.
So, what is it for you?
We can look through our mutual information if you want.
Just to be safe that we're talking about the same thing.
Well, what is it? What did you think that you were reaching for that?
So, use is what is done with the space in general.
Yes.
Assignment is the ability to transfer the entire tenant's lease, the entire lease.
Mm-hmm.
And subletting is just a part of the lease.
Okay, so for use, what would you want to see happen?
So use is how you employ the space, and it's the controls as how you employ the space.
Okay, so what do you want to see happen with the use of the store?
Well, as I told you before, the policy, like throughout all the years, is that Summit retains the right to use. Well, retains the right to every part of the clause in Article 22, but we're willing to work with you.
Okay.
But I see that
So-
it's very important for us. Okay, so you know that our mutual thing is profit, because you profit from us, and also you profit from us because we're high quality and we attract high quality
But
satellites.
you also profit from those satellite stores being there as well, and people being drawn to the mall.
But
Such as if someone needs to come in to fix their iPhone at an
Mhm.
Apple store, they're also going to walk into your store because they're drawn there already. Maybe they weren't coming out to your store, but because of those certain satellite stores, they're going to be there.
exactly, but well, in the case of Apple, we don't have direct competition with that store. But I know your example. But also I wanted to say that in the past, like research has shown that a mall fails if they don't have a good anchor. So actually, like having us as the anchor in your mall brings you a lot of benefits, and our participation will determine the successfulness of the development. You know.
But also, there's other anchor stores that we could bring in. For example, Neiman Marcus or Bayside is also who we're considering. So we just have to make sure that whichever store we bring in is going to be able to accommodate the satellite stores, accommodate our assignment needs.
Neiman Marcus is we're Neiman Marcus. Like they're comparing us to Neiman Marcus in the information, so it doesn't exist
No, it does exist.
in this world.
Summit is a department store very similar to Neiman Marcus. It's not saying that it is Neiman Marcus.
And okay, but I know that in the area, the northeast area, there isn't a Summit store, so that is positive because it's going to be the first one there, and it's going to attract a lot of clients. And
It kind of makes me nervous in a sense that not as many people are familiar with the brand.
no, because they don't. How do I say this? They will be attracted because it's the new thing around. You know.
I think it's also important to consider if enough people know the brand, if they're going to go to those other anchor stores because it's what they know.
I don't think that is the
I don't
case.
think it's really relevant right now to
Okay.
the negotiation, but
So what were we talking about before?
okay, so definitions of assignment and use.
Mm-hmm.
So use is what you're going to do with the store, and per your Article 22, what is it saying that you can do with the store? Anything you wish.
That we have the right to
Okay.
decide.
So working on that, how are you willing to accommodate us?
Okay, so our Article 22 says that we are willing to decide on the 3 issues. Like, I think I'm willing to compromise on, because there are 3 issues, on any of the issues, but at least one completely let us decide on our own. I know that you're just to go to the part of like compromising and accelerate this. I think
for
that
use, so since we want it to be high quality,
Mhm.
could we just both agree on if Summit will maintain the store's character and the style of the stores, that's okay as long as they're not conflicting with the satellite tenants to such a large degree. So I'm really trying to compromise, and I would be willing to. What's a new product line that you would want to throw into the mix if you had to pick something for future market trends? Like, I know right now we see that Summit has quality clothing, shoes, cosmetics, fragrances, gourmet food, but they don't sell large appliances, large furniture, electronic equipment, books, video games.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as you're going to maintain that character of high luxury goods, I think you'd be able to bring in use of any other product as long as it's not directly affecting satellite stores. But I'm willing to work with you on that. So unfortunately for some of the satellite stores, say if there's one company that you need to bring that product in, I'd be willing to allow that for one store. So if you're going to be in direct competition with one store, I would allow that. But anything else, like you can bring in, okay, say we don't even have an appliance store in the mall. So that's completely fine if you want to bring in appliances and start selling that.
Yeah, but that's not okay.
But like, what is something that you?
That's not high end. I mean, that's
if it was like up to the quality though.
I know, but that's not what Summit represents. In that case,
what would an example be of something that you would want to bring in?
Well, as you said right there, all of the just expanding each of those areas, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that you said about, I also have that here. Clothing, shoes, cosmetics, fragrances, gourmet food, handbag and luggage and jewelry and home accessories. I think that emphasizes everything that we focus on.
Okay.
And okay.
So what would you see yourself using the store for other than that? I think that's what the issue of this is.
Exactly. We just want to have control on what and how we use the space, but of course we will be maintaining the quality focus.
Okay, so if we were going to write something,
I think it would be that we want to maintain our control, but in a sense to compromise or gain something both of us. I know that you're concerned for significant alter of the use of space. Like, if something is a bit shifted, you guys are not going to care, or are not really concerned about it. You're concerned about the significant shifts.
Yeah.
So
I think as long as you're maintaining that store's character.
We're concerned about the market conditions. So you're concerned about the significant alters, but we're concerned about the changes in market conditions and our ability to quickly work towards that change. And
so if you saw that people are making less money, is this a store that's going to start offering Walmart products?
Of course. No, because we are who we are because of our name and because of what we offer, and we're not going to change our strategy if economic condition changes, like, and people demand more.
Okay. So if we said Summit will maintain the store's character and style of store under their own discretion.
What I don't see, okay, write down.
As long as you don't directly compete with more than 2 satellite stores. Could that work into this?
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, so imagine that we wanted to imagine that we wanted to put or do something in our store that directly competes with one satellite.
Mm-hmm.
Would you do anything about it? Nothing, right?
No.
We would be able to do it like that.
If we're gonna do one, then I would allow it.
Like you said two, but I'm saying the example of one.
Yeah.
So two, and we would do like this. Okay. Is that okay? I don't know if that's too. I don't know how to measure if that's a good number.
I just don't know how many satellite stores there actually are. So
Right
what
now-
percentage of this?
Right now, you have interest from at least 7.
Okay, so I think that's a good number then to say 2.
But I mean, of course, a
Satellite
mall is
stores,
not
and then-
only 7 stores.
Yeah. But
2 is.
directly
Shouldn't you
compete
write it
with
in
2
percentage?
with 2 satellite stores with new products. So I'm sure you already have, if we have a handbag store, you already have luxury handbags in your store, so that doesn't count into this.
I know
This
that.
is bringing in new use.
Okay. A new use.
Yeah.
So, can you read what you wrote?
Hold on, probably needs to change. Okay. Summit will maintain the store's character and style of store
Uh-huh.
under their own discretion, as long as they don't directly compete with. You want me to make it with more than 2?
No, but
As long-
I think it should represent a percentage instead of like a number because you don't know.
Then 2. Well, can we? Let's talk about this one first. With more than 2 satellite stores with new use stuff, does that make sense?
And like, so imagine that we're already set on the things that we're going to sell. If like when we set our store and when the mall starts running and when customers start going in, if we decided to change from that point on, that would be the new use that you're talking about, right?
Say that again. Sorry.
Okay. Imagine that the mall is already open.
Yes.
We set our store. From that moment, if we change something, that is the new that you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay. So, when we set up our store, as we have it configured, what we're going to sell right now, maybe we are already offering, like one of the handbags or one of the products that the satellite stores are going to be in the mall.
If from right on this point right
Today.
now, yes,
Mm-hmm.
then that's okay.
Exactly. So, how?
It'll be.
Okay.
We'll take like a snapshot of the store today overall, like what you're selling right now, and what your product line
Today
includes. If you decide to bring in new use, we have to make sure that you're not going to take out all of our satellite stores.
Okay. And okay, I understand.
Okay.
But because, for example, I have noticed, and maybe you have too, that, for example, in Copley Mall,
Mm-hmm.
right here in Boston, the Saks Fifth Avenue sells a lot of purses,
Mm-hmm.
handbags. They sell, maybe they have a Louis Vuitton inside the store, the department store, which is sublet. And they also sell in their huge amount of handbag sections, like not in like the little stores, but in the middle of the whole section, like Tory Burch purses.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go out of Saks, there's a Louis Vuitton store, like just as a store, not inside a department store.
Yeah.
And there's also a Tory Burch store. And you don't see the sales affecting. And they're also targeting this high-end consumer-based
Well, you
market.
already sell handbags, so that's not going to be an issue if you're selling Tory Burch bags, if you're selling Coach bags, because that's already something that you have.
Okay.
We're talking about new use. If, for instance, you started selling iPads when we have an Apple store, I don't even know how that would work out, but do you know what I mean? If you brought in a new product when we already had that established satellite store. we would allow it to compete with 2 satellite stores directly. But even more, we could make it so if it was more than that, you can appeal to the process and show us how you're not going to completely negatively affect that store.
So I think we can do. Can you represent the 2 instead of writing 2 like as a percentage?
But I feel like it would be like 5%.
Because you don't right now you don't know how many satellites.
Yeah.
So I feel that saying 2 is misrepresented. Maybe it's better to say a percentage.
Could we say 5 then?
5%.
Yeah.
I think it's okay. If you already know
how many stores are in malls.
Because they have more than 100. It depends on the size of your mall. Also, you already have established 7 stores, right? Or more? Okay, let me count. 13 stores.
Okay.
And you said 2. Maybe we could represent that as a percentage. 2 of 13.
That's not all the stores that are going to be included, though.
No, but that's you knew that those stores were already.
Yeah, but I'm
set.
not saying that I knew that's the only stores.
No, I know, but I mean, saying that you already knew this, you said 2.
I think that's too.
Yeah,
I know
you can
2 stores, but that's saying if there were going to be more stores in there. I'm not saying that these people who are interested are the only ones that are going to be there.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that.
But that's
just
gonna be
represent this as a percentage.
2 out of 13 is going to be way too high of a percentage. Because there's not going to only be 13 stores. Those are just 13 with direct interest right now.
Okay. Okay, but a mall has more than 100 stores.
I don't know exactly that they would have more than 100. But so
it depends on your mall.
If we say
like
5% is what I'm willing to say right now as a percentage.
Okay, so that's like 5 out of every 100 stores.
I'm just saying that's what I'm suggesting right now.
How many stores do you think you're? What's that? 5. 5 out of every 100 stores.
I'm just thinking of malls in my town, which might be similar to Northview, that it's not going to be like
For
a
example,
Boston Prudential mall.
Like
is what I
Natick.
was thinking.
Natick is too big.
Yeah.
Burlington is too big.
It sucks that this is a fake made up town because I don't know.
Natick, I think Natick is more towards the end that they're focusing towards because Natick has Bloomingdale's and Nordstrom.
What does it say something about the town?
It only says that it's called North something.
Northview or something.
I'm going to stop the video.
Yeah.
Okay.